Is there something wrong with being into Asian girls? Y'all are on an even playing field with this one. Meh. People have preferences, there is nothing wrong with it. I'm Asian. There's nothing wrong as long as you see them as individual human beings and not as Asian females. Don't worry. Both of you be like, oh, you're one of those, and don't even know it. Because some people fetishize Asian women and don't see them as individuals. If you know you don't fetishize them, don't worry. In a nutshell, it's seen as creepy because men who like Asian girls, if you mean East Asian, Japanese, Korean, Chinese, etc., are often into Asian porn, where women are often portrayed as little girls and are heavily dominated by the men in a non-consensual looking way. In my experience, a lot of white men feel like Asian women will be submissive to them and will just be obedient housewives, or super sweet and compliant, putting them all in a box as the same. I say this as a half-Asian woman who has often been fetishized by white men, who say stuff like, I've never been with an Asian girl. You could be my first. You look like ex-Asian porn star, and then saving my name in their phone as that porn star name. Calling me Lucy Lou at school, etc. It's gross and uncomfortable, and I think other women have cottoned on to this and feel weird about it. Not to mention in some Asian countries you'll see very old white men with very young attractive Asian women. So that can also make people feel weird. There's more to all of this, but this is my short take on it all. I think you just have to accept there's a stigma around this. P.S. Also know it's definitely a red flag for most Asian girls to see when a white guy has a string of Asian exes. Also, it's a bit weird to me how in another comment you're saying, they're just aesthetically good looking. You think all Asian women are all aesthetically good looking? Bit odd tbh. I think this could be part of the problem. It's fine to say you prefer Asian features or find them beautiful in some of the women you've seen. But to put all Asian women in a box feels off to me. She always talks about how she finds black guys hot, and I understand it's just a preference. She's just attracted to the looks of African American people. She's always going on about this? That sounds pretty weird. Also, you can just call us black. Most black Americans don't call ourselves AA. Also, you said that she was speaking about black people. Unless she's only specifically attracted to those of us that are American, there's no need to say American. I mention this because a lot of you will use African American to describe black people in general. That description can fit me, but not every black person is American. Also, in regards to the Asian thing is not necessarily a bad thing, but how you talk about it matters. I'm in the military and I'm around a lot of dudes that have Asian fetishes, and there's a whole stereotype about military men being married to Asian women who can't even speak English. I've actually met some of them. Those women tend to be very lonely when they can't properly communicate with anyone. I was at Golden Corral with my 50-years-old mom and 17-years-old younger sister and got to listen to two 70-years-old men behind me talk about how they preferred Asian women because they were exotic. So that was fun. Confounded face. The stigma has a lot of history to it. But basically in WW2, American soldiers stationed in Japan had quite a lot of interactions with prostitutes and brothels. Primarily because the Japanese government specifically asked their women, who weren't prostitutes, to essentially tame the Americans. That's how the fetish began, which was further exacerbated in ensuing wars and deployments in SEA. That is also why in 80s and 90s satire comedy films, we often see the Asian whore trope. My wife is East Asian. She's the only East Asian woman I've ever dated. I've still been accused of yellow fever many times over the years. Mostly by women actually now I think about it. Reality is, looking back over my dating history, I just like women from different cultures to my own. But who have lived in my culture long enough that we can hit it off. When I was young I dated around a dozen people, and apart from two they all met that brief kids of migrants. Migrants who had lived here many years etc. I've never really been much interested in women from the same race and place as myself, I guess. No idea why. As long as it's not in a weird fetishizing way. I've tried to point out this double standard many times before without any luck. White girl only wants to date black? Fine. Any ethnicity only wants to date within their own ethnic group? Fine. Any girl wants to date only a specific kind of man? No problem. Black guy says he likes white women? No problem. But have mercy if a white guy says he likes Asians, or black, or Indian, or any, as he's instantly seen as fetishizing them for having a preference. There is no, okay, cool, just immediate backlash because everyone jumps to talks of, you better not make a fetish out of them. Like what a white guy has said or expressed is any different than what anyone else has already said and done. You do you. Nobody can belittle your preference. As an Asian woman, here are my thoughts. There isn't anything wrong in casual conversation, but it's the choice of words. Hot and sexy is sexual attraction, indicating hot and bothered, horny. Personally, if someone says, Asian women are hot, it pings a red flag for me because more often than not these guys just want to bang an Asian chick to fulfill a submissive or small body fantasy but not a real relationship. Especially if the first thing you say to me, I'm really into Asian girls, this phrase says to me you see nothing of interest about me other than I'm Asian. Not my eye, not my laugh, not my jokes, thoughts or interest, you just see an accessible thing you can take home, possibly a fetish. I've been hit on with the phrase, I think Asian women are hot, sexy, I love Asian women, they're so feminine and know how to treat a man right etc. So often in random public areas, and it's just frigging creepy, and it usually are creepy guys. Because they usually follow up with a stereotype words like, small, quiet, delicate, sexy, wife, gentle, feminine etc. And to turn them off I turn by running my NYC mouth. Now if you said in casual conversation, I think Asian women are attractive, I think Asian women are beautiful, I prefer Asian women, I have less of an ick feeling. The word choice is different. Especially if you follow with some actual cultural reference or actual feature that is true. Like I dated a guy because we liked the same anime and he liked it when I laughed at his jokes. I asked him why he asked me out and why he likes me. He said, because you like the same stuff I like. And you're funny. And you're pretty. And I really like looking at your eyes. I asked what about my eyes? And he said, IDK, they're different without the crease. It makes it whenever you wear a little eyeshadow, it's really pretty. IDK, when you close your eyes to rest, it also makes IDK look like a flower petal. And he blushed really hard. This was in response to my eyes I never got. I never was told my eyes were nice. But almond monolid eyes is a thing East Asians have. He was also really open to learning my culture. This dude does like Asian women. But his response and actions is the type of response most girls want to hear. Individualized responses of why you like them. Not some overall vague catalog description that you can get on Pornhub or from some guy who can't tell you the cultural difference between Chinese, Japanese or Korean. No, not at all. I am not fetishizing them or anything. Your colleague thinks you are. I find it challenging to define the line between finding attractive and fetishizing. but I'm sure Reddit will do its thing and explain it to me now. That sounds hypocritical of her. Ask her why the double standard. They're being weird. There's nothing wrong with finding Asian women attractive. She's a hypocrite. One of my best friends is Vietnamese. She told me it's a huge red flag when guys say they're into Asian women. Personally, I find women of all races attractive, so I don't understand the preference for a certain race, and it leans into the fetishization to me.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Haircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.